Okay, so we're going to be watching this liberal video from DylanBurnsTV called "Conservative Debate Quickly Becomes Extremely Bigoted." All caps there. And the charge he's going to be making a lot is, like, is the right homophobic? I mean, I'm a gay conservative, so I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see what the video's about. I've watched probably an hour.
We're gonna look this out because apparently the right is tearing itself apart and it's actually glorious. So we're gonna check this little debate out. So apparently some of the LGBT part of the right found out yesterday that the right's actually pretty homophobic. Maybe
There's the charge that the right is pretty homophobic. Let's see his backup for this.
they missed the trans military ban. Maybe they
First of all, I don't know why you would pivot to the trans military ban. That has nothing to do with homophobia or gay issues. I know you guys like to lump the whole alphabet soup thing, but I mean, like, my thing with the trans military band ban is like, I don't think our military should reflect our values if it means getting in the way of its ability to fight. I don't think if I pose this question to you, like, let's say Germany becomes Nazis, and we could either have a all straight white male military that wins the war, or a diverse military that loses the war. Like, you would probably want the military that wins against the Nazis. So, like, I understand it's a very difficult issue. People give turfs a lot of shit, but they're actually right on that. A lot of trans people's inclusion in some of these spaces does uh, create problems that need solutions. It's not transphobic to say that, but okay. I get. I mean, this person's probably never thought of, like, about any of his positions. He probably just thinks trans people good, military bad. So
missed the whole fighting over gay adoption rights. Maybe they missed the fight over gay marriage. Uh,
so the fight over gay marriage, the most extreme position I've seen within the past like 5 years, of the Republican Party is just like, maybe we should try to like undo the Supreme Court decision so that the states can vote on it, which I think is fine because with the Supreme Court shit, you get like the rights of religious people being stomped on, and that's one of my biggest problems with progressives is that you guys have these groups of people that you really love, and then groups of people that you absolutely fucking hate. And so all it takes for you to decide where you stand on a position is which group is being flattered and which group's rights are being stomped on. Like you don't put any more thought into it than that. And it's actually super frustrating because like the your rights end where my wedding begins stuff, like with the cakes, like that is absolutely a solution, like something that the free market can fix. Just go fucking find another store that will get you your wedding cake. Like it's not that big a deal. You don't need to use the government to shut down the business. Yeah, just go find, just go do a little bit more searching if you really care about your marriage that much. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay to stomp on the free expression rights of a group of people when all you're asking for is something really that's not that important. Like when we're talking about like I can do it poll too, like compared to black people and women, for gay people fighting for their civil rights have it pretty easy. So to sit here and complain that you don't get a fucking wedding cake when like holy shit, black people and women have had to fight much tougher fights, like fucking hell. It's so entitled, but whatever. Yeah, they just don't think about their positions. Like it's group A I like, group B I dislike. So whatever fucks over the group B, whatever flatters the groups that I like. I don't know.
not exactly what I expected, but apparently, these two individuals on the left had a conversation with John Doyle and this blonde woman, who I don't know who this blonde woman is, about LGBT Republicans. And you know what? You know what? I actually respect John Doyle and this other person for being honest about, what they think of the gays.
So first of all, I don't think John Doyle said anything negative about the gays in this entire in the 15 minutes that I watched. He kind of tacitly agreed with the blonde chick, but I mean he wasn't as like far, like, he wasn't as expressive about it. Maybe he does have some negative opinions towards gay people, that's fine or whatever, but I mean, like...
How the gays don't really have a place in the conservative movement.
The problem is that's their opinion. But depending on who you ask, absolutely. I mean, there's talk, they mentioned in this video, there's talk of a big tent party. Like, do we bring in the moderates and the libertarians and the disaffected liberals? I think there's she mentions a confliction. I don't know if you can see my mouse, the top right person mentions a, like, confliction of, like, do we stick to our values or do we kind of go with this big tent? I think we can do both. I don't know. But yeah, she's generally homophobic. I disagree a lot with her. But
because the conservative movement will always reject them.
That's not true.
And even if...
See, there we're already doing the painting broad strokes. Because this person on the top right genuinely is homophobic. Okay, I'll give you that. But that doesn't mean the entire right wing is homophobic, and that's really dumb.
One day they accept them, it'll be the same way they accept anyone else, with stipulations on how they're supposed to behave themselves.
I mean, considering the media flip out when Kanye went Trump, I don't think you have any right to fucking talk. I don't think you have any... You have fucking Caroline Borisenko, who, like, was part of this SJW knitting community, went to a Trump rally and had said, hey, these guys aren't evil, like, racist, horrible Nazi bastards. And she got fucking, like, fucking scorched by the community. I mean, you guys are way more authoritarian with how certain people are supposed to act. I guarantee you, if I'm a conservative and I go to, like, our politics or our feminism or our any of the, I have to fucking buy so many accusations that you have towards me before I'm even allowed to speak. I bet. You guys are way worse at this than the right. It's just not true. Okay, so maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe what DylanBurns is saying is right, that the right has all these stipulations for you to be and left is all inclusive. Well, let's look at the progressives' new, like, darling theory, the progressive stack. So, it's a technique that they claim is, like, gives marginalized groups more power. And basically what it is you have to, if you're white, you speak last, essentially. You can kind of see it. Like, the Wikipedia page is, like, this short, holy shit. Which just tells you it's not really a widely adopted theory. That's taken seriously. It's basically, if you want to be in lefty social spaces, you have to speak. If you're white, straight male, you have to speak last. And if you're not okay with that, then you just can't be in those spaces. I mean, this is clearly, like, anti-white racism just dressed up in academic clothing. Like, and it's clear. Let's go take a look at a proponent of the progressive stack, what they're saying. So let's start from right here. And of course, they've obviously got a very biased pro-progressive stack opinion. This is what they put in their own fucking website. Like, let's let's start reading right here. Lest you think I'm exaggerating merely for comic effect, Google progressive stack. Almost every result you get will take you to the fever swamps of right-wing Reddit and warmed over piles of Gamergate droppings. This fucking website mentions Gamergate. How old is this fucking website? Oh, okay. Progressive stack is simply anti. I mean, they're at least good at describing the fucking arguments. It's rare among lefties. You're the real. I mean, discussion because of their race or genders. They're not very good at irony. They're not racist. They want fucking meritocracy. But what they're saying is, we're not racist. We're just being inclusive. We're giving everyone a voice. This is what they put in their fucking... I don't know what's ironic. That people who aren't racist are calling you out for being racist, whatever. Are you saying they're racist because they're white? This is what they fucking put. This is the nastiness. All the harassment campaigns. Right wing. It's stained because it is racism. It's discriminating based on race. But this is one of the stipulations. You have to be, if you want to be part of the progressive movement, you have to abide by the progressive stack. And I mean, it's no wonder that a movement, a party, a ideology that is so wants the government to be up everyone's ass with regulations would have stipulations and regulations like this. But I mean, like, let's go take a look at someone who's super far left. What happens when they jump onto a all trans debate panel? First of all, cringe. Let's see how they introduce themselves. Okay, so I found it. It's this all trans panel, which is extremely fucking cringe. Um, and here comes Vosh. He's about to introduce himself. Let's see what he has to say.
You know.
Okay. I won't argue.
Yeah.
Who wants to go?
All right.
Vosh, I
bathroom
think.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Vosh.
I feel like we split hairs on this. Also, hey, my name's Vosh. I'm cisgender. I apologize for my existence.
I apologize for my existence. Wow. There's no way that that sort of thing, like, could happen on the right, and if it did, like, the left would be all fucking over. Like, look at that in this right-wing panel. People have to apologize for their existence, whatever. Like, there is no fucking way that would be allowed to happen, or that would ever happen. But on the left, we got panels where certain races or certain groups of people aren't allowed. So yeah, stipulations out the ass. And this person is like a far, far lefty. Like Vosh is like fucking psycho, revolutionary psycho. And for him to be on this panel, he has to apologize for his existence. Trans only or woman only or black only panels are dumb, especially trans only panels because they repeat echo chamber like anti-science points like gender or sex doesn't exist or like weird shit. Like, I don't know, it seems pretty fucking cringe. It seems like you have to have pretty big stipulations in order to be on the left, whether it's a progressive stack, whether it's this shit. I don't know, I think he's kind of projecting a little bit. Alright, let's get back to the original video at hand.
Etc., etc. Because at every point in American politics, it was the American right that were under...
So Richard Wolff did this in the debate with Destiny.
Something I'm curious about. Why wouldn't you consider, just going by the incredibly generous definition you give me on point one of socialism, why wouldn't you consider the Democratic Party in the United States a socialist party?
Because it opposes almost everything you just mentioned. It has a small wing now that is in favor of it, who, by the way, call themselves socialists.
Mm-hmm.
But the establishment of the Democratic Party, its history over the last 100 years, since Franklin
Wait, that's
Roosevelt...
not fair. Why would you talk about the history of it? That's not relevant.
Because history is always
it's
present
absolutely
with us.
not relevant. You said yourself that you said yourself that the way that we look at socialism today is different than it was 100 years ago. Why did you say history isn't relevant? Because I didn't like the fact that when he was condemning the actions of the Democratic Party, he wanted to reach back over 100 years and talk about their failures. But when I was trying to get him to tell me what he believed a socialist country was or what socialism was, he was like, well, hold on. I'm not going by Marx's definition. Things are different now. Well, hold on. If things are going to be different now for how you define socialism, which, by the way, that's fair. If you want to use a different definition now, that's fine. But you can't hold the Democratic Party to account for things that another Democratic Party did 100 years ago. I don't think that's fair. I don't think you can do that. You have to be consistent in this. If you want to talk about how things are as they are now, that's fine.
He pivots back to the history of the American right. Yeah, maybe the American right was homophobic back in its history. That doesn't really matter now. We're talking about the future and the current, like, how the American right is right now. And I don't think pivoting to its history is relevant at all when judging the current American right. I mean, fucking look at Trump. Look at how many conservatives disagree with him, like Dan Crenshaw, I think Ben Shapiro as well. Crowder wasn't, like, full on Trump at first. Like, fucking, John Bolton. I mean, come on.
Undercutting gay...
Trump and I think Ted Cruz are signs of a new wave of populism among the conservative right. And the left, I think, is going more like what they used to accuse the right of, like corporatist.
People's fight for liberation and their fight for equal treatment. So, I guess...
You want to talk about equal treatment? How about trying to get equal treatment for conservatives on Twitch?
this is coming as a surprise to these folks, but it's not coming as a surprise to me. So I'm very interested to see this. I'm gonna go get a drink first.
I need a drink as well. Fuck.
And then we get to watch this 1 hour of the right tearing itself apart as they try to...
I don't think the right is tearing itself apart. You got like a 4 fucking person panel, my dude. I mean...
to reconcile with the fact that the right really doesn't like gay people.
Again, that's not true. You're painting fucking... what's the quote from... Someone did a review of No Man's Sky. I think it's Shammy. And he said if Jackson Pollock had paint rollers for hands, he wouldn't make strokes this fucking broad. Like, holy shit, dude. Calm the fuck down. Top right is genuinely homophobic. That doesn't mean everyone on the right is.
Sure, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub. Now, of course, I don't mean this for all right-wingers. There are right-wingers.
Oh, sure you do, buddy. Black people are thugs that listen to gangster rap and they'll go commit crime, and that they're less intelligent. Oh, but I'm not talking about all black people. Okay, you wouldn't fucking roast the shit out of me if I said something like that. Okay.
Nice to gay people, but the right as a political movement is certainly not.
That's not even true anymore. You're just digging a hole.
Nice to gay people. Let's get this this train wreck on the road.
Dr. Carl here was the first one to celebrate me being
Harlan.
from Quinn.
Harlan. Well, I celebrated that you were banned on Twitter because you repeatedly tweeted that my husband should be deported, Lauren.
He's an illegal alien.
I don't really know how much you know about me, but I'm probably the most vocal anti-children transitioning person on the internet. It's what I'm.
Right.
I let you speak.
The best thing you can do for us is grow out your mustache and tell people not to live like you.
That's fucking spicy.
Holy shit.
I don't care about the woke scolding. This dumb fucker. I don't care.
Trans people.
He's probably saying some fucking, like... He's probably disparaging the right while I'm fast-forwarding, but I mean, like... I don't fucking care about the... Oh, my stars and garters. Pearl-clutching bullshit. Fuck off.
Being one of the good ones still doesn't...
Oh, this one of the good ones meme. You know what? Here's the secret key for gay people to be one of the good ones. Defend liberty. Be a happy warrior. Defend liberty. Be a fan of smaller government. Yeah, that's basically it. Defend liberty. That's how you become one of the good ones. It's not that fucking hard.
You on par with the rest of them because they still see you as part of that class, that group that they're fighting.
Here's the lefty framework of viewing things, trying to apply it to the right. It just doesn't work, my dude. The right does not see people as a class. That's funny that you would think that way, though.
Against. This is the same group of people that voted Trump after he did the trans military ban.
Okay, again, the trans military ban is a pragmatic issue. Again, I understand what, like, does it suck? Yeah, of course. I mean, but like, a lot of things that we have to do that are pragmatic kind of suck. But like, the fact that like, it's pragmatic, like, it sucks, but I mean, like, it's something you might have to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
After he called, after his government fought
also, the pivot from homophobia, hating gays, to trans military ban. Get your fucking alphabet soup straight.
against gay people's adoption rights.
So he flip-flops on this constantly. He goes from Trump was against gay adoption rights, to Mike Pence, to Trump's cabinet. Like, what the fuck is it? I haven't looked it up because I don't fucking care. If it's his cabinet, I totally fucking understand, because those are like old fucking neocon boomer conservatives, so I kind of understand. But I mean, fuck, dude, get your story straight.
This is not a surprise for anyone who's paying attention to the candidates they're supporting for office. Those two things, those two issues.
I would rather have no trans people in the military than fucking giving way to crypto socialists. I mean, look at fucking what happens to gays in the USSR, in any communist country. Yeah, no thank you.
Never came up.
Before you say they're not all socialists, yeah, act like there's a clear Democrat to socialist pipeline. But yeah, even then, like, I want smaller government. Hey, you know what? I thought of something the other day. The 2020 rule. 20% corporate tax, 20% of things regulate it. I don't know how I would think that out, but I mean, like, generally that's kind of my idea.
It's never of concern to these two. So is it really a support? I mean, really a surprise that this is how they're going to treat people, even the people on their side that are gay? They're always going to be lesser.
That's not true.
Or if they're trans, they're always going to be lesser to them.
If you could point to, aside from this one chick, like, you would have to cherry pick so hard to even make this look like it's true. But I mean, like, everyone that isn't a socialist dipshit sees right through you.
Always.
There's been a lot of arguments on Twitter recently where people cannot decide what it means to be right-wing or what the future of the party is. If you don't know why that's important...
Usually this kind of shit happens after elections, by the way. People keep saying the GOP is falling apart, and that's going to be the dustbin of history. No, usually this happens after the GOP. After they lose an election, they kind of run with their tail between their legs and figure out what the hell went wrong and try to fix it the next time. That's why you saw 11 House members in the GOP vote to remove MTG of her committee assignments, which was stupid because she doesn't believe any of that shit anymore. But yeah, they liberals would like to say, oh, the GOP is falling apart. No, it's just restructuring itself and trying to see what'll work for the future. I think Ted Cruz, Donald Trump kind of populism is where we should go. Plus a little bit of Big Ten.
Important, well, just look around you at the radical leftism, all the insanity in the culture, and a president who...
Holy shit. Was that not proved with the Biden speech? Where it's like, we the people are the government. No, bitch, you don't even understand the Constitution. Yet you swore to defend it. Okay. Prepare for expropriation of land by 2022, folks.
Borrowed an election and a country...
Reminds me of the SpongeBob episode. I didn't steal it. I was borrowing it.
Who wonders what is our future and who is going to save us from this absolute madness.
Did he just say borrowed an election?
Dude, any talk of, like, election fraud or potential election irregularities triggers the fuck out of liberals because they don't care about democracy.
In the culture, and a president who borrowed an election.
He won. There's no evidence of widespread election fraud.
I wonder how much hours or how much time this person has spent looking into the claims. Like, he probably just looked at the fucking, like, oh, PolitiFact says it's so intellectually lazy. Like, fuck.
That's a conspiracy theory.
It doesn't have to be a conspiracy theory. It could be one person committing fraud that just swings a key state, or it could be glitches, or it could be some sort of irregularity, it could be, like, illegal ballots, or it could be fucking anything. Just because you mention voter fraud or irregularities does not mean it's a conspiracy theory. That's really dumb. These are the type of people that usually get by with, like, not arguing things they're uncomfortable arguing about by just calling the other person a conspiracy theorist. They haven't actually thought about this topic or even looked into it.
You might as well be telling me how the Houthis or the Nepalese government did 9/11.
So to say that even, like, the more conspiratorial thinking around the 2020 election is on par with X did 9/11 is really fucking stupid. It's really fucking stupid, especially when the conspiratorial mindset about the last election is a minority. But okay, like, God, it fucking tears my ass apart that liberals will virtue signal around this topic like, oh, I care about democracy. Republicans are trying to tear democracy apart. What a fucking world, man, where Republicans who are trying to protect democracy from potential issues are actually destroying it. They're trying to steal the election from Trump. Okay. David Pakman, you dumb fucking moron. Okay, like, fucking hell. At least have the conversation. Listen, the reason I care about this shit isn't, like, listen, I like Trump. I think having him in office would be cool. I wish he won. He'd be better than fucking Biden. But I mean, like, what I really want is to fucking work with Ted Cruz. I think that would be so fucking cool to work with him in 2024, learn under him, and, like, fight the fight, dance the dance, like, fucking taste the thrill of victory and the sting of defeat. I think that'd be fucking amazing. That's what I want to do. But it doesn't matter if there are issues that will always swing it for Democrats. That's my worry. Does what I want to do in life matter? That's why I'm concerned. All I want is a fucking election audit. That's all I really want. But this position comes as a surprise to most liberals who haven't even thought about it. They fucking virtue signal about caring about democracy, but they pass this up. Don't you think if they really cared, they'd be like, okay, I'm pretty sure Biden won, but I'm willing to look into these things that might seem a little sus. Oh, fuck, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. These people haven't thought about it. I guess they only really care about democracy if it's in the workplace, under worker co-ops. Yeah, but they pretend that Republicans are destroying democracy as you're constantly letting potential issues go because your guy got in. That's really all that matters. Because let's be clear, how many fucking Democrats objected to the results in 2016? I guess that's a fucking lot. So is it okay to object to results of an election? Or not? It's really dumb. These people are going on base instinct and emotion, but to pretend that they actually care about democracy really tears my ass apart. Especially when I'm so fucking concerned with it. I've got a Schrodinger's cat nightmare. Just fucking... Ugh. Yeah, these people don't understand. They don't understand at all.
And a country who wonders what is our future and who is going to save us,
Ted Cruz,
from this absolute madness. Well, a lot of people seem to disagree, which is why I brought a panel of guests on to talk about what the future of the right wing looks like and how we win back our country. If we can bring them on the screen, I went ahead and I invited on a myriad of people. I have Karlin, he's called Karlin Borisenko.
Well done.
Commentator.
I thought it was Carolyn Borosyenko. I don't know why the Y and the S or whatever get fucked around when I read it.
We also have Lauren Witzke. She ran for Congress in Delaware. We also have Blair White, YouTuber as well, and John Doyle, YouTuber, and they're all here to answer these questions. So let's talk a little bit about...
Who's surprised that the rampant transphobe actually ran for a Republican position, as if the actual Republicans in office...
So, is he trying to say that people who have perhaps bigoted beliefs shouldn't be running for office? Because if that's the position, then you obviously just don't care about free expression. I mean, yeah, her beliefs are bad, but I mean, like, she should be able to run for office. And just because she runs for office does not mean that the representation of the Republican Party as a whole, which you've tried to claim,
will play always to the transphobic, homophobic...
better than a fucking Democrat. You guys fucking constantly harp on about harm reduction, which I definitely agree with. Like, I don't know if she would actually enact some of the, like, more transphobic or homophobic policies or whatever, but I mean, better than Democrat, who is going to fucking keep you locked down with fucking masks on and not really progress in allowing the country to stay open, is going to radically change our government to be up our ass. Yeah, I don't know. I take personally, as a gay conservative, I take a little homophobia over government, fucking quasi-fascist government control.
Groups and organizations that will fund them. What a surprise.
Again, it's kind of like the bite my tongue, I'm gonna have to vote for someone meme. Like, yeah, there'll be people that'll fund her, even if she is kind of homophobic or whatever, because, like, it's conservative challenging a liberal. You gotta win against the liberal, because the more base beliefs that we all share are more important than, like, the differences in attitudes towards different people or whatever.
What a surprise.
And this is another thing. People don't understand. The GOP stick with their own. People claim that Ted Cruz is kissing up to Donald Trump. They don't understand. A unified Republican Party is more likely able to get good policy out rather than a divided one, which is why you have constant squabblings between Pelosi and AOC, because your party's divided.
About this as we get into this, starting with Lauren, how do you describe yourself politically?
Okay, so I am socially conservative. I'm advocately. I've always been economically populist. Economic populism is the future of our party. However,
true.
Preserving social conservatism within the Republican Party.
So what she's saying here, I don't disagree with, but to the extent I would disagree with. Like, I think keeping that social conservatism, but, like, mixing it with freedom, I think we could do that. So, like, let's say we give tax cuts to families that live a traditional lifestyle. And by traditional, I mean, like, one person goes to work, one person stays with the kids. It could be gay, straight, it could be the woman going to work, and, like, it could be any. That's what I mean by mixing, like, social values, conservative social values with freedom that allows anyone to participate in this kind of traditional style family, like, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's fine we can stick to our core values while dropping off some of the ones that are kind of like, eh.
Is a real passion of mine.
So what you're telling me is that they're call themselves an economic populist, but they really don't like the gays and the money.
If you think social conservatism is just about hating on the gays, you are woefully uninformed. I'll give you the argument against gay marriage because I know you've never thought about this in your entire life. So, the bread and butter of a social conservative is that traditions have value. And in order for those traditions to keep their value, their rules must be rigidly followed. So marriage, they see, is a tradition that has value, that brings people together. And traditionally, gay people were kind of excluded from marriage. So, some people see that, like, if you have a gay marriage that is going outside the bounds of what the tradition normally allows, and you're kind of, like, devaluing it because you're going outside, like, the regular norms and rules of the tradition. I think that's how a lot of people who are kind of against gay marriage feel. That's the argument against gay marriage. But you've never thought about that, so it's okay. I'm here to educate you.
Minorities. Got it. Okay. I got it in the head.
And this is something liberals struggle with constantly. You can be against gay marriage, but be totally fine with gay people. That the phrase, like, love the sin or hate the sin is not only a big, like, step in progress for a lot of churches, but I mean, it's actually a thing. There aren't these, like, hordes of Christians who hate gay people. That's really fucking dumb.
Family, I'm very pro-life. My whole motto is I just like to win and save babies. So
amen. That's fucking base. Abortion is genocide.
That's what I do.
Awesome.
And here's the thing. You can tackle abortion without ever touching, quote-unquote, women's bodies. I mean, it's a dumb fucking argument for a couple of reasons. Like, we wouldn't allow people to kill defenseless people because it's their bodies, their choice, right? I mean, like, that's really dumb. But, like, misinformation about when babies begin to feel pain, I think should be, if you're a public figure, should be considered a murder charge. That shouldn't be protected speech. I can imagine someone who's like, I don't know if I can really afford to raise this kid as much as I could, but I wouldn't get an abortion if it would mean causing pain to someone. They see, like, a Vox video or whatever, and are fine with that. They end up killing someone who's, like, 22 weeks old. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Abolishing abortion clinics would also be a good thing, because there's no capital incentive to commit a wrongful act. You would have them at hospitals who would make their money through lots of other different avenues rather than just abortion. I think there's a third one, but those are two good positions for now.
Blair, go ahead and
then we can have the discussion of when is a baby considered a conscious human being? I think it's around 8 weeks. And how should we legislate on that? I think that's an interesting conversation that you get to have, but liberals aren't interested in it.
Tell us where you lean politically.
Yeah, every political quiz.
And again, goes back to what I said about progressives. They really like women. They hate babies. So, I mean, it is what it is.
I've ever taken matches center right, so that's me. I don't have sort of the popular story everyone loves of, like, I'm a former liberal, I'm a lifelong Republican, always voted that way. And yeah, that's me. I'm definitely a little bit less socially conservative, and that's where I live.
Walking away from a trans person. Nice. A little bit transphobic there, Dylan.
John, go ahead.
Populist, socially conservative.
Carlin, are you different than them?
Yeah, I'm a little bit different in that, some people say I'm a former liberal. I'm actually a current liberal. I have never stopped being a liberal, even though I did leave the Democratic Party. Politically, on my political compass test, I tend to be right in the center, and I frankly just want common sense people to come up with common sense solutions.
That's good. Like, fucking hell, liberals tend to complain about, we need common sense gun solutions. Grassley Cruz, look it up.
Awesome. So as we get into this, I want to let you know something important. This is the first question we're going to jump into, which is, what is the future of the right wing, right? If we're going to win a war, if we're going to fight the left, we've got to figure out who's on our side. And there's a split of trying to figure out if the future of the right is a conservative, moral Christian party that is a strong nationalist background, or if it's this big tent party full of...
More like a big Ted party. Yeah, Ted Cruz 2024. I think you can have both positions, but you might have to compromise a little bit on the hardcore, like, social things. Like, I personally would not want to legislate on any social issue like gay marriage or whatever, aside from just reversing the Supreme Court decision and letting the people decide. I think that's fair. Maybe instead of doing it by state, we could do it by county. Like, I think that'd be really interesting. Yeah, there's lots of ways we can, like, but I think the days where conservatives legislated on social issues is over, especially with the Tea Party movement. Like, there's a big shift in like, the way conservatives acted, like, lesser government, like, stuff like that. I mean, I think those days are over.
Liberals, libertarians, disaffected left, etc. Before we jump into that, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor for today, guys. The world is getting crazy, and I'm telling you, it is not getting easy out there. Not only do you need to have defensive equipment, you need to own guns, but you need to have some way to conceal. They want to.
I wonder if what this person's opinions on, like, gun control are, and if they've ever bought a gun. I'm guessing they're pro-gun control and have never bought a gun. God, there's so much fucking disinformation from the left on that. Like, it took me, like, a fucking minute to search if there were background checks. Because someone posted that there's not even background checks. Like, no, there are basic background checks. And, oh God. The fucking fact that Grassley Cruz got filibustered by Democrats, yet they'll sit here, the cringy, like, fucking Reddit atheists, like, will say, we don't need prayers, we need solutions. Grassley Cruz was the solution. Like, oh God. Fucking spare me.
Guys, so let's jump right into this. So my question is this. As we look to take back the country from the radical left and we seek to make it a stronger place, how are we going to do that? Is it A, by building a stronger, conservative, Christian moral party, or is it B, building a big tent party of libertarians, the disaffected?
I think I would stay away from the Christian morality, like, shit. Like, I don't know. That's not a very winsome position. I think the kind of big tent party that, like, still sticks to its, like, right-wing populist, nationalist kind of position, while still having a modicum of, like, family value stuff, but, like, but making sure that if there's any legislation, like, there's freedom of, like, I think we could stick to our core values while still expanding our voter base.
Left, conservative.
But we probably won't be. I understand her plight, by the way. On the top right, I can't remember, Lauren something. Like, do we dilute what we believe in to appeal to voters? Like, what would happen in 10 years if we like, if we do that? Will we no longer, like, will we lose ourselves? Like, there's the images of, like, conservatives in 5 years, and it's like pro-BLM, like, I don't know. I think there's a bold, like, new way forward that we can satisfy both people.
Etc. Like with the questions, we'll try to go in the same order. We'll start with Lauren.
Look, my audio isn't perfect. I have noise in the background almost always while I'm here. Example. The thing is, right? Though, a right-wing audio just never seems to get on point in this guy.
What a weird fucking, like, thing to say. Like, why would you stereotype a group of people based on their audio? Like, that seems a little yikers, my dude. Like, if you're willing to stereotype people based on something like that, what other behaviors might you be willing to engage in with these people? Now, I just gave the lefty argument. But my argument is, yeah, you like, I don't think just because you stereotype people means you're going to eventually, like, have these, I think, for the record, I think you do have negative opinions of right-wing people. But, like, it's weird that you would stereotype their audio. Maybe it's because they live in rural areas with different socioeconomic conditions than you. So, like, maybe they don't have the money to afford really good headphones or a really good headset. I don't fucking know. Just something to consider.
As a prime example of it. Just can't get his audio fixed out, can he? Come on, it's his show too, right? I'm used to my guest doing it, but him?
Yeah, so
To be fair, your audio is fine, but I've heard you stutter like 10 different fucking times, okay? So don't be throwing stones, alright?
I'm really confused why this is a discussion about the future of the right when we have a liberal, actually this is a Democrat, with one good opinion. We also have a transgender on here. I don't really think we should be giving a platform to this kind of degeneracy, which is...
See, she's homophobic and transphobic, okay? You got this one. But to pretend like the entire right is like this is where you fall flat.
A gateway drug to pedophilia. I absolutely...
You know what? That's a fucking terrible argument. You know who else kind of made that argument? Destiny. When he's saying that fucking Milo is saying like pedophilic shit or spreading around that kind of misinformation, he is kind of like tacitly implying that there's some connection there. Now, I know he agrees with death of the author, the idea of death of the author, so he can't really fucking say anything against what I've perceived from his position, which is, yeah, there might be a link. Like, he said some pretty harmful shit about Milo. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously I don't think that, but I mean, like if Destiny's going to fucking kind of kowtow with that position, I mean, you can't really blame her, can you?
We disagree. We were the party of traditional marriage. We were the party.
And you were failing during the 90s and 80s.
That opposed gay marriage.
Look.
Listen, splinter off and make your own party. Watch you fail just as bad as the Nazis or whatever.
I mean, she can say that, but I mean, she's a gateway drug to doing Hitler salutes.
First of all, I don't know if that's true. I don't think she's a Nazi or anything. I just think she's got some pretty like outdated beliefs. But now you're making it. But what happened to they go low, we go high? But now you're making the same argument.
In the forum, in the hallways of our society, okay? She's a gateway drug to somebody putting bombs on their chest and running into the Capitol before...
You talking about Muslims? Oh, sorry.
Blowing themselves up like a right-wing maniac, okay? So...
Still could be talking about Muslims. Jesus, I don't think you want to platform that kind of dog whistling, my dude.
She can call being transgender...
Also, has that ever happened before? Not likely.
Degenerate, okay? But at least they're not...
Someone's really fucking ass mad. You're talking. You need some fucking Adderall or whatever. Just need to slow down.
Putting QAnon tattoos on themselves.
QAnon is irrelevant.
Shaving their heads doing Nazi salutes in the forum. Absolutely disgusting.
Marriage.
Does this sound like a good point to you? Like, you're just kind of rambling on because you got mad.
We've always been that party. We've always been the party of family. We won handedly in 2016 without the LGBTQ vote.
Yeah, but you won in 2016 with a completely different message from what the traditional right was in the 90s. No, I disagree with that entirely. You didn't win on your, like, hardcore moral majority shit. You won on economic populism.
We started losing when we started compromising, so I'm really curious.
Okay.
I don't even know if we lost. I mean, an electoral audit might alleviate some of that worry.
Let's be clear. This is stupid logic. This person's stupid. It's not a surprise. They're an imbecile. A dunderhead would be the most appropriate word for this individual. So, if we remember clearly, Trump has been probably the most pro-gay Republican president.
That's true. Perhaps it signifies a push towards a gay-neutral program. I don't want to say pro-gay, because I don't think Republicans are going to be like, oh, yeah, gay pride. To be fair, I'm not a huge fan of gay pride for a couple of reasons. But I mean, like I don't think they're going to be pro-gay like that, but gay-neutral, like, I think that's where it's going.
Than ever, and that's not...
I think Trump, here's a like yin-yang kind of thing. Trump represented the kind of the new right of economic populism and nationalism. Pence was kind of the representation of like the older right. So maybe he actually was part of the like anti-adoption stuff. Which personally, like just talking about my own preference here, I don't know about adoption. Like the butterfly effect kind of thing. Like what if there are better parents out there for the kid? Like I don't know if I would really be willing to do that.
Saying a lot when we talk about that because he's done anti-gay policies. He's gone after transgender people, but
What anti-gay policies? So far, you've only gone with the military. See, this is where he flip
He
flops.
held up a gay flag once, and that's the most a Republican candidate has ever done for the gay community, right? And that.
Yeah, but we're seeing massive progress in that direction. I guarantee you, Ted Cruz is going to be more. I hate to say pro-gay, like I said, pro-gay than fucking Trump is. We're naturally going to see it.
That just shows how disgusting the Republican Party has been towards gay people. That
has been. You're pivoting to historical examples of the previous Republican Party.
He is the pinnacle of them being pro-gay. It shows generally how you can't have the right. I'm sorry. I'll give me a moment, guys.
He just realized his arguments about the right being homophobic is really fucking dumb now that he's talked about Trump being pro-gay. How about homo-neutral? There we go.
It shows how you can't really have the right, and this person's very open about it. You can't have a right wing in this country anytime in the near future that's going to treat gay people or trans people like human beings.
That's not true. It's more disparaging based on no evidence.
They have set themselves up with the hardcore evangelical community to be their base, and they don't.
No, I mean, yeah, evangelicals are Republicans, but probably because of more, like, common issues of, like, lower taxes or, like, common Republican issues, not because of homophobia. I think that's really dumb. I mean, you can point towards these, like, various different things, like a conspiracy theorist would with your little cork word, but I mean, like, it's probably just because Republicans and evangelicals probably have some very basic, like, set of beliefs of, like, economic populism or very different things like that. It's probably not just because of homophobia. I mean, come on.
Know that the best thing they can do is advocating for torturing gay people.
I don't think anybody's advocated for that.
And
I know there's a joke about Mike Pence, but I think he's like the lone example. I know when I was scrolling down to find this video, I saw more like bad faith titles. I don't know how much I want to do this, but like, I don't think Milo's for fucking torturing gay people. I don't think. I guarantee you, if I go watch what you were watching there, that's not going to be the fucking message he's trying to, like, I don't. Liberals just can't have a good faith conversation with fucking conservatives. That's why Destiny is so goddamn popular.
Flame rhetoric that leads to them getting lynched. That's just the end fact.
At least to them. Okay, buddy.
And this is a prime example of someone whose rhetoric helped lead to gay people being lynched, transgender people.
When? Where? I know there's a lot of, like, claims about hate crimes, but how many of them are actually, like, ended in a conviction? I don't know, man.
Killing themselves at a much higher rate, and black transgender people getting murdered with the...
Wait, hold on.
Someone whose rhetoric helped lead to gay people being lynched, transgender people...
Wait, does he believe in the Jesse Smollett shit? No, he can't be that retarded.
Killing themselves helped lead to gay people being lynched, transgender people killing themselves at a much higher rate.
Okay, so he is massively oversimplifying a stat. So yes, transgender teenagers have a higher rate of suicide. And what they tend to say is it's because of bullying and discrimination. However, and teenagers in general have a higher rate of suicide. I think it is more like, I wonder if the hormone changes in the body of someone who's going through transition and then has to go to school with that change and being mocked. I wonder if that's messing with people's ability to maybe take some I don't want to say abuse, but I don't want to say harsh criticism, but like take some harassment. Whereas maybe like if they haven't been messing with their hormones or haven't been taking these like different therapies, maybe they'd be okay with it, or maybe they'd be able to fuck, I was doing research when I went to do this video earlier, but like maybe they would be better off. It wouldn't ruin their day or anything, but maybe because of various emotional or hormonal changes, they become more sensitive to those kind of attacks while their body is rapidly changing after like a massive fucking surgery. That probably has more to do with it than just people are mean to transgender people, but okay.
And black transgender people getting murdered with the trans panic defense. This is a type of
Wait, what? Can we get some source? Hang on. Let's take a look. See. Oh, hold on. Wait, did I say something? This video portrays such a fundamental mistake of the Republican Party. It's laughable. The biggest issue is blazing. True. I wish I had said, okay, yep, nope, no sources for anything. I don't know about these black trans people being lynched. I think he's, I don't know if, I don't want to say he's lying, but he would lie.
Individual that would protect the trans panic defense in court. This is somebody who
I don't know what the trans panic defense is.
People and transgender people as subhuman. They're
this person maybe, but not all Republicans.
very open about it. They're being open about it, and this is one of these candidates for the Republican Party in Delaware.
Why?
It's like, yeah, why? It's like one fucking candidate, my dude. Stop spurging out, Jesus Christ.
People who are libertarians. I mean, you have a party of freaks who love the free market that you can join. But don't come into our party and try to influence it, because that is how we are losing. And in case you haven't...
I disagree. Her opinion is wrong.
Notice we are losing. They are now advocating for chemical castrations for children. We're spotlighting.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Like, I don't think children should be introduced to this transgender stuff or any kind of sexuality. Like, I don't just kind of let them learn about it when they get older. Kind of like, is it like 5th grade you start to learn about like sex ed or whatever? Like, okay, they don't need to learn about this trans stuff or whatever. Like, we could say that for later.
Transgenderism at CPAC. And I am a traditional Christian conservative. I believe in family. I believe that family is the foundation of everything.
I wonder what she would say is if she encountered a gay person that was like, listen, I don't want to do the fucking nightclub promiscuous shit. I just want to find a guy, but like I don't want to get married. I just want to find a guy that we move in together, maybe fall in love or whatever, and we're sex buddies for eternity. I wonder what she would say if she would maybe have a lighter opinion. I wonder if a lot of quote-unquote homophobia is more reactions to ascribed social beliefs that a lot of gay people have. Like, if you're gay, you kind of assume that you're liberal, which is kind of annoying.
This country was founded on, and no.
Like, I feel like if you were, like, let's say in the South and you were gay and you're like, Dad, I'm gay, but I'm a super conservative, like, I have these social values or whatever, I don't think it would be a big deal. I don't know, that's baseless conjecture, but I mean, half the shit he's saying is baseless conjecture, so I'm comfortable making that statement.
No, I do not believe that we should be compromising our values and spotlighting a lifestyle that is a gateway drug to pedophilia every single time. And
nah, it's stupid.
Okay, so the idea that the Republican Party is the party of the family is ridiculous. It's ridiculous for a few reasons. Number one, they have been the one targeting benefits for low-income families for generations.
So, okay, I don't know if we're also pivoting back to historically. I think maybe I don't know enough about this example. Like, he's going into this like Gish Gallopy kind of rant.
They've been targeting food stamps. They've been targeting their health care.
Okay, so the problem is like all of that has to come out of taxes. So like. And the problem is, like, what we don't want is, like, we don't want people who subsist off of these social, like, programs or whatnot, and don't get a job and don't, like, do something for themselves. We want something to be symbiotic, so that's why, like, I don't like UBI, but I would be kind of okay with what I call UPM, Universal Paycheck Multiplication, so, like, something like 50% or maybe 100, like, or some sort of, like, percent of your paycheck is, like, let's say you get $100 or whatever. Let's say, and then, like, $50+ are given to you by the government or something. So you still have to get it by working. You're not just getting it because you exist. Like, that's the problem with some, like, welfare programs or whatever. Now, I'm sure there's some that, like, you have to show that you're trying to find a job or whatever, but I mean, like, that's generally the issue.
They've been targeting the assistance to homeless families. They've been doing this for a very long time.
I need sources, dude. I can't respond to something that's just baseless, like, there's nothing here. It's a historical pivot back to an older party.
They're not pro-family. You can't call yourself pro-family, pro-children, pro...
Yeah, I know how many families are on. Well, actually, I was thinking of like working families, not like. Yeah, I guess there are probably a bunch of families on welfare or whatever. But I mean, like, this is really dumb. No sources to really like. It's hard for me to defend it, other than like the base like. Here are the issues that some conservatives have with welfare or whatever. But I mean, like, I don't know. This is really dumb.
Pro trying to protect children until they're out of the room, then screw them, let them starve to death.
Okay. Like, and liberals, they'll just fucking keep you on welfare programs, mired in this fucking misery where you don't have a job because all the rich people are taxed at 90%. There's no economic opportunity for you, and so your entire existence is paid for by social programs. And it's just a fucking mindless. The rich people are all going to leave because they're being taxed at 80, 90%, and there's no fucking economic opportunity because you put a. And like, they can't drive anywhere because you put a fucking carbon tax, oil tax on shit. Like, fucking Jesus Christ, liberals hate the poor more than fucking Republicans do. Our position is that, you know what? The rich people, rich business owners, do create opportunity for the poor people. They can get a job. They become the lifeblood of the rich, and it's like a symbiotic like relationship. But like, the problem is that, like, these social programs, if you just lift people up and there's no ladder for them to climb higher, like, there's nothing. They're just levitating. There's nothing there. Like, you need a two-pronged system. Like, okay, a liberal would have you just resuscitate like a heart patient, but never fix the issue. A conservative would have you resuscitate the patient and then fix the issue, fix the heart issue. I'm fine with some like welfare programs that, like, if someone's in dire need, I don't want them to go homeless or whatever. Look at San Francisco, Democrat run. California, Democrat run. Homeless people fucking everywhere. But okay, buddy. Yeah, you keep going with that oil tax. I mean, it fucking caused the Yellow Vest movement. Could you imagine if they had guns? Then you'd see an actual insurrection. But yeah, it's really fucking dumb.
That's not pro-family, okay? That's pro-regressive values.
And the Democrats seeing everything by race, looking at everything through the lens of race, isn't regressive at all. I thought we moved past this shit. Fucking hell. Oh my god. It's fucking cancer all the way down. Hey, what, 51 minutes on the recording. But like, fuck, you can't just have a purely liberal society where the government intervenes on fucking everything. It doesn't work. You have to defend liberty. You have to allow for personal responsibility sometimes. And then you can have these social programs for when people fuck up or when people are in a bad time. But you need economic opportunity. You need rich people to create jobs for poor people. It's a two-pronged fucking system. Republicans don't hate the poor. Fucking liberals do. And it's evident by the fucking homeless populations in these cities. Fuck, this is such a dumb argument. Fuck, I used to think, oh, okay, I can understand why they think that, but they're misguided. No, they're just fucking dumb. You're dumb. This is dumb.
That's pro trying to make the state influence people. Wait.
I'm getting cancer AIDS. I'm gonna need some fucking free healthcare for this shit. Republicans are pro trying to make this. Let's hear that again.
That's pro trying to make the state influence people.
So you don't think massive welfare programs, UBI, is making it to where the government, the state, has an influence over you? God, he's so fucking mind-numbingly dumb.
At least she's admitting she is an anti-freedom individual. She is somebody who wants to tell.
And that's why we weren't winning back in the 90s and whatnot, because we weren't pro-freedom. But now we are. Now we're defend liberty is literally one of the fucking Ted Cruz catchphrase. Like,
you how you are supposed to live your life, call it degenerate, and regulate it.
That's what the Democrats are doing. Oh, okay. That's what the Democrats do. They're the ones with big regulations, big government, big tech. They're everything you hate about the Republican Party in the 90s. They want to legislate social values. The problem is you don't even see it. Like, fuck, if you like Democrat, like, fucking policies, that's fine, but, like, you shouldn't like the Democratic Party. That's why some of the Bernie bros are unironically fucking based sometimes.
That is what she's about. Now,
Hey, you actually got it. You got it. You fucking nailed it, buddy. You nailed it. My dude, my friend, my comrade. That's what she's about, not the Republican Party. Thank you.
again, you cannot be a pro-family party and then throw poor families under the bus. That's the...
I don't know how they did that, but we're not doing that anymore. Unless you can put... I don't know. You probably can't. You have no sources.
First thing. Let's hear that one more last time. I just want to review that because I had another thing I wanted to say, but I lost it.
They are now advocating for chemical castrations for children. We're spotlighting transgenderism at CPAC. And I am a traditional Christian conservative. I believe in family. I believe that family is the foundation of everything that this country was founded on.
True.
And no, I do not believe that we should be compromising our values and spotlighting a lifestyle that is a gateway drug to pedophilia every single time. And you cannot deny it isn't.
Man, it's a gateway drug to pedophilia. Of course, the Republican Party has no problems with
This is like super huge cherry picking. Like, holy hell. He's gonna like search this one random ass result or whatever. I think if... Let's see what he searches
pedophilia
up.
whatsoever. There's no ties to anybody that you could ever actually point out that is actually, has real charges of them in relation to pedophilia. There's nothing like that whatsoever.
Oh, he's pulling up the Trump Epstein thing? That's really fucking dumb. Whatever. Okay, so he's pointing to Epstein. This is such like a fucking conspiracy theory that like to act like these two people being in a room together means that Trump knew about all of Epstein's fucking dirty secrets is really fucking stupid. It's nice to kind of pin it on a conspiracy corkboard, but I mean, it's really fucking dumb to say that like two incredibly rich, powerful men being together means that something nefarious went on and that Trump was involved with it. It's really fucking stupid.
And the real issue is transgender people and not the people that she promotes as the people who should be leading the party forward. No problem.
Yeah, this is really dumb. This is a really fucking dumb, like, quasi-conspiracy theory.
Problem whatsoever. We need to be pointing the finger at transgender people. This is nothing more than a repackaged version of the gays are going to pray after to children, the gays are pedophiles.
I mean, what the fuck is drag queen story time? Or Desmond is amazing. Not saying that this is necessarily, like, all gay people are going to be doing that or whatever. But there are kind of examples that are really sus, or like the Cuties film, or show, or whatever it is. There are examples where shit goes too far. To deny that is really fucking stupid. Not saying that every example of gay people or trans people or whatever goes to that extent, obviously not. But I mean, like, there are examples that are kind of like, okay, that's not cool. I mean, like, ugh.
It's completely baseless, but again...
So we're like half the claims you make in this video, my dude.
Don't be surprised.
We're only 15 minutes in.
This is the face of the Republican Party. It still is, as much as they want to pretend it isn't.
Actually, I think Ted Cruz is the face of the Republican Party.
At least she is showing to the world.
But, like, try to string this together. Sort of like the most poorly crafted conspiracy theory ever. I think QAnoners do a better job.
And to us online, who sometimes we tend to forget. This is what we are actually pushing back against. This is the
no.
This is what we are actually pushing back against.
No, I totally disagree. My friend, you are pushing back against a straw man that you and your fellow lefties have created to say Republicans hate this or blah blah blah. What you're really hiding from and what you're shit scared to actually do is to actually find out the positions that Republicans believe and find out why they believe them. Because if you did, you might actually have to think about, are my positions valid? Like, are my positions good compared to these? So you throw up these straw man after straw man with these fucking dumbass, baseless claims and say, this is what we're fighting against. You are fighting against a straw man. You are doing nothing.
This is the backbone of the ideological foundation of the opposition.
No, I disagree. You haven't proven that. You don't have a single source or claim, or a source for your claims.
Because it's here.
Blair, would you respond?
I think that there's a difference between, you spoke sort of to gender ideology, which is definitely rampant on college campuses, definitely taking over culture. I think that's different than just people who, as individuals, may technically be gay, lesbian, bisexual, any of the above. And I think that it's possible to fight against gender ideology while holding true that there are going to be people that are just different in life. I definitely am not here to speak to the future of social conservatism because that's just not my lane. But as far as the party, I think that a big tent.
Listen to her. This person just called Blair White a degenerate for being trans. This person on the same place, she can respond.
This is the dumb fuck lefty view. White silence is violence. If you're not woke scolding someone at every turn that you're complicit. I mean, come on, this is really dumb. She's probably just trying to respond civilly.
Nice with her.
So that maybe if she goes kind of slow and not attacks her, that maybe she can come around to seeing Blair's way. I mean, come on.
Why? And all she's doing is making herself a mat to be stepped on. Angry at Blair for not pushing back. Like throwing the trans community under the bus for
I don't think she's throwing the trans community under the bus. By not woke scolding someone, it's probably easier to get someone to agree with your positions if you're calm and rational.
For big conservative, big girl points. But it's also really sad to just be degraded like that and just not respond to any of it.
Maybe she didn't feel it was a personal attack. I don't know. Or if I'm sticking to I think she just thought like, hey, if I take a more calm demeanor, then maybe I can get her to see things my way. I don't know.
Is most likely the future. I think that knowing my generation and a lot of people my age, which is mid-20s and Gen Z a little younger, I think that they voted for Trump the first and second time, or just the second time, because Trump kind of ushered the party into an era of a little more secularism.
This is true. I don't know, like, I think there's some Christian values we can take away that aren't harmful and that wouldn't set us back. I don't know if I would be willing to go into full, like, secularism or whatever, but I mean, like, yeah, kind of what she's saying is right. But I think I'm going to cap off this video here, maybe do part 2. We're only, like, 18 minutes in. Holy shit. It gets so much worse from here if I remember correctly. But, like, to answer the question, is the right homophobic? No. You might see some people with different views on, like, gay marriage or whatever. But to pretend like the right as a whole is homophobic and thinks lesser of gays, it's just not true. It's so baseless. You don't even have like if you had a poll of like, what do righties think about gay people? Then okay, I could kind of see where you were coming from. But these are all baseless attacks towards a straw man. You're not fighting anything. You're shadowboxing with a boogeyman you've constructed. And it's really sad. It's really sad that this is the left. Like, this is what the left has been diminished to. What a fucking shame you are to your movement. Jesus Christ. Like, if this video was nothing but, like, that woman right there, that bitch, is being incredibly homophobic, incredibly toxic. How bigoted of her. Then I probably wouldn't even be responding. But the fact that you extrapolate this to the right as a whole is really fucking stupid, and you should feel ashamed of yourself. But, like, this party's moving in a direction that is far and away, like, a country mile different away from, like, the Republican Party of the 90s, the moral majority, whatever. It's moving in a newer direction. I think you should update your outlook on what the Republican Party is, because you might disagree with some of our policies or whatever. But that would be too hard to actually have to think. Thank you so much for watching. See you in part 2 of this. It wasn't even 20 minutes. Talk for 30 minutes, Christ. Okay. See you guys next time.
It is none of government's business what consenting adults do in their own bedrooms. It is none of government's business the sexual orientation or gender identity of adults in their own lives. It is none of government's business what consenting adults do in their own bedrooms. It is none of government's business the sexual orientation or gender identity of adults in their own lives. It is none of government's business what consenting adults do in their own bedrooms. It is none of government's business the sexual orientation or gender identity of adults in their own lives.